At the heart of what we do is we take the best qualities of antique and historical jewellery and bring them into contemporary jewellery designed for modern women. The reason that we started Aril Jewels was because both of us have been passionate about jewellery throughout our life. We want to share that love with other people, get them passionate and excited about historical design motifs coming back into jewellery. We're Chloë Woodmansterne and Kayla Rimmon, and we're Aril Jewels.
I knew I wanted to be a jewelry designer at 8 years old when my grandmother bought me a bead kit. I applied to FIT, Fashion Institute of Technology in New York City, to study jewelry design. I learned how to do the technical drawings, which is important when you're giving a sketch to the workshop, so they know how to make each piece. I also learned how to do jewelry renderings. So those are hand-painted paint-ups with gouache and watercolor.
It's quite funny because I also started by making bead jewelry. When I was 15, I begged my parents to let me do evening classes in jewellery making. In my gap year, I did the gemmology diploma at the Gemmological Association and the diamond diploma. We met while working at Hirsh London. I was working on the production side and Kayla was the jewellery designer there.
We bonded over our love for antique jewellery. While we saw antique jewellery, we would send over photos to each other, being like, oh my gosh, how beautiful is that? Oh, look at that detail in that ring.
After working for an in-house workshop that supplies Bond Street jewellers, I reached out to Kayla and said, how would you feel about setting up our own business? So Aril Jewels was born having complementary skill sets. We felt that was like a great dream team for making jewellery.
An aril is the seed of a pomegranate. Not only do the seeds look like faceted gemstones, but they also are an ancient symbol of love and marriage and friendship. When given a pomegranate, it shows good intention.
The Elizabeth collection is named after Queen Elizabeth I. The inspiration came from portraits of Elizabeth, textiles, stove tiles, or jewellery from the period in the Cheapside hoard. There are so many motifs, and the rose in particular, that were strong throughout the Elizabethan period.
I sketch everything by hand, oftentimes starting with very loose sketches. Just, thinking of taking the concept that Chloe and I thought of and putting it down to paper in my sketchbook, and then we'll take a look at it and see which one we like best. After we choose the final one, I will start painting the final design, which is one of my favorite things to do. I can zone out and focus on how to make the gemstones look as beautiful as possible.
This is where I do all of the gemmology aspect of what we do at Aril Jewels. So every gemstone that goes into every piece, I will individually handpick every gemstone, and this is really where my gemmology qualifications come into their own. What I will do is find exactly the perfect match, particularly for colour, because colour is really at the centre of this collection. We love using antique old cut diamonds because they have been recycled from antique pieces. They were cut by hand over 100 years ago, so it adds a bit of historical charm to our pieces. Once I've selected every gemstone, I will put it into a layout box so we can see the final gemstones in the layout of the design, and we'll make sure that we're happy with how the final piece is going to look before we send it to the workshop. Emerald Rose Ring is my favourite piece in the Elizabeth collection. It was challenging to make because the emeralds were difficult to match because emeralds vary so much in colour, and so to get really fine quality emeralds that were all the same proportions, shape, colour, clarity, quality was challenging. Emeralds are synonymous with the Cheapside hoard. They are one of my favourite gemstones because I absolutely love the colour of them.
One of my favorite pieces is the amethyst and natural yellow diamond rose pendant. We thought that putting amethyst in one of our rose pendants was a nice nod to the Cheapside hoard. And also a really beautiful color combination that you don't really see that often in jewelry. One thing we find really important is to make sure that the back of the piece is just as beautiful as the front. So what we've done with the rose pendants and the bracelet is not only is it beautifully designed, but we've actually set a tiny rose cut diamond in the center. The tiny rose diamond is just for the wearer, and we find that to be a really special touch.
Jewelry is such a personal, sentimental thing. It's a symbol of special moments in someone's life. It's an engagement, a wedding, a baby being born, a big birthday, or it's a graduation, or it's something that's happened in your life that you want to celebrate. And we become a tiny part of those people's special moments by being able to commemorate it in a piece of jewelry. What we want to do long term is develop those relationships with people and just help them celebrate the best moments in their lives with something sparkly.